So, hello everybody, I'm Thomas Sanchez, and I'm going to talk about Clubes de Ciencia. First of all, thank you everybody to being here. Thank you for Nate and Frank for inviting me. So I'm going to talk about Clubes de Ciencia and also the collaboration that we've been doing with Sci-Hub and Clubes de Ciencia Arizona. Clubes de Ciencia. So a little bit of my background. I'm a researcher at MIT Media Lab, and I work with intersection of art, technology, and science. Last year I made I collaborated in a project for musical instruments and zero gravity, also urban planning for cities, and also large venue installations in Mexico, and also a project that you experience Boston as if it was Mexico City, which is a little bit psychedelic. So I'm going to talk about how Clubes de Ciencia started. And I'm from Mexico, and the city called Guanajuato. Guanajuato is it's a beautiful city because really colorful. But at the same time, there's not a lot of research happening there. So when I was an undergrad student, I wanted to do a master's or a doctorate in Mexico or in a different location, but there wasn't really any information about that. So that's how I think, or in my sense, how my need for information happened. And you can look a little bit in the graphs of Mexico. It's really behind research and development in the area of science and technology and other areas. Mexico only contributes around, this is in 2012, but a new information, it's around 0.5 of its total GDP. So in Mexico, there's a lack of research and information, and this is one of the biggest contributors to a lot of the social problems that are happening in Mexico. There's a lot of crime, there's a lot of insecurity, and we believe education is one of the problems to solve this. So our mission in Clubes de Ciencia is to expand high-quality science education and to inspire and mentor the future generation of scientists and innovators in Mexico through international scientific networks. So this is a big statement that we want to do in Clubes de Ciencia. So this is a little bit of what Clubes de Ciencia is.
The scientific method has existed since the beginning of time. It helps us understand and interpret the world around us. In fact, it is something very simple. Medicine, transportation, your cell phone, your watch, the materials that your clothes are made of, and many more everyday things are designed by scientists and engineers. What are the Clubes de Ciencia? Picture this. A group of young scientists and engineers, PhD students and postdocs from all over the world who deliver free, intensive, hands-on workshops on multiple topics of science, technology, engineering, and math. The workshops are called Clubes de Ciencia, and they are designed for high school and undergrad students in Mexico. What are these so-called Clubes de Ciencia good for? They're good for creating networks and sharing knowledge with future generations of students, for opening up doors and getting advice about scientific careers, and nurturing curiosity and motivation. The topics that the Clubes cover are all fundamental for our future well-being: energy, neuroscience, biotechnology, nanotechnology, among many others. All for free. Knowledge, science, networking with students and researchers from all over the world, for free. Support Clubes de Ciencia Mexico and be part of this science and education revolution. Clubes de Ciencia Mexico.
That's a promotional video. So we have three parts in Clubes de Ciencia that we want to focus on, which is we want to share science with the youth in different levels, for high school, undergrads, and the research level as well. And we want to build connections between all these different levels of research. And lastly, we want to also share all this information online. So all the workshops that we design are also available online, and we also create online resources for that. So how Crubes de Ciencia works in simple terms. First, we partner with a local university, for example, in Mexico. And this local university hosts the workshops that we design. And we need like a university because some of the research workshops are really precise in the research topic. So it could be nanotechnology, and we need the facilities to host that. Or it could be biology, so we need gene editing instruments. And so the Crubes are taught by scientists, or postdocs, or PhD students. And the PhD student or the researcher, we pair them up with a local researcher. So there's two people who teach in a workshop, the local instructor and the foreign instructor. The local instructor is really important because the instructor gives the perspective of the local programs and the local necessities. So both of them are matched together to create a workshop in the city. After we make the match between the two instructors, we find the most motivated students to be participating in the workshop. And the students who applied, we don't look for grades, we don't look if they have some big award. We look if they're really motivated and if they can answer really simple science questions, like if you have all the resources of the world, how would you solve a problem? We look into those questions that are simple, but we can see the creativity of solving a problem. And this helps because if one student in Mexico doesn't have the resources to be in the university, the student can participate in the club just by being creative. So once we have the students and instructors, we collaborate with the local university and design the workshops. So when I say we design the workshop, it's in a week. Usually there's like around 6 or 7 science clubs, and it's like a science fair. There's six science clubs happening at the same time from diverse topics. It could be biology, it could be computer science, it could be anything that has to be related to science. So we had different topics in science, like science and journalism, how to make a company with science. So anything that go around this field of science is welcome to be a club. So once the students participate in the workshop, we also mentor them through all the process. So during the week, they also we mentor them how to apply, for example, for a grant. We mentor them how to apply to a university, and we mentor them through scientific questions. So some of the partnerships that we've been doing, the global partnerships has been ASU, of course, Harvard Mexico Foundation, MIT, CONACYT, which is the Science Foundation in Mexico, and all the different associations. So some of the examples of the clubs, for example, is gene editing from a student from UNAM with the National University of Mexico, and somebody from Stanford University, Lidl. So this is also another club which is done in Mérida, Mexico, which is exploration of also space. And the students here build this device that could go, well, the video is kind of crazy, but oh, my battery. Oh, yeah. That's true. No, I didn't. That's weird. This is an example of one of the science clubs.
So the workshop is called Neurocucaracha, and the idea is to to see what we know and what we don't know about the brain. Mostly what we don't know about the brain, since there's so many things. In order, the students work with cucarachas, and they performed surgery on the cucarachas. They implanted electrodes, and they were able to measure the brain waves of the cucarachas. They implanted microchips in the brains of the cockroach, and then they tried to control them. And in fact, they're going to try to control them with their own brain waves. We have devices that measure their brain waves and transmit them wirelessly through Bluetooth to the cockroach, so that the cockroach will be controlled by the student's brain. And they did the neurosurgery on the cockroach by themselves, and the cockroaches all survived. Yeah, the students here are great. They are very, very high-level students. They're very excited, and I teach in English because I don't speak Spanish, but I think it's going well. I think the students understand. They try really hard, and I think they're going to do great things. There are many students I see that they're brilliant. You know, I've taught other students in the United States and in Germany. Sometimes there are some students that you know that they're going to go on and do great things. This is one of the best experiences I've had. This week has been great for me, and I think for everyone. We've had a lot of fun. We've learned things. The people I've met here are extraordinary. So for sure, everyone should try this. Everyone that likes science should try this.
En lo personal ha sido muy enriquecedor. Cuando estuve en contacto con Alex me di cuenta que era una...
So yeah, I was in Spanish, but I'm just going to cut this. So this, we also have videos of the instructors explaining the research and what they do during the week. So this is like an example of the kind of like data set or an example of what's happening during the week. Just to like show a lot of the videos. So this is from 2016 to 2018. So just a little bit of the context in Club de Ciencia in 2018. We started in 2014 with one city in Guanajuato, and now we are 9 cities in Mexico, which is Jalapa, Guanajuato, Mérida, Chihuahua, Jalapa, La Paz, Chihuahua, Ensenada, and Monterrey. So we're now in 9 cities, and this last edition we have 47 science clubs, and since 2014, the first edition, we had around 9 clubs. So we've been growing the clubs in each of the cities. 19 have been taught in English, so also English sometimes is not a barrier in this context. So most of the students can speak English, can understand, so we can deliver courses in that way too. I think one important information to say is that we try to have a gender balance and the instructors as well as the students. We try to have a 50% women and 50% men doing the instructors and also the students. We also have a lot of partnerships between all the universities because we're 9 cities, so every city has a host university. So for example, in the city of Guanajuato, there's the University of Guanajuato who hosts us, or it could be another different university. But these partnerships allow us to gather the students, to mentor them, and as well to help us through the process of organizing Club de Ciencia. So this is a little bit of how we promote Club de Ciencia. We first, it's during the week. I think I mentioned to everybody. So it's during the week. It could be so usually it's in the spring break when students in the United States have a break. And that allows us for the researchers that are on vacation to travel to Mexico. So this is our edition 2019, which is looking into 9 cities in Mexico. And okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit ahead. This was Club de Ciencia Mexico through like the years, but we also been trying to go through Latin America and expanding or educational models through different universities in Latin America. It started in Mexico with the same model of teaching high schoolers and college students scientific knowledge, but students, for example, the Club de Ciencia started in Bolivia. A friend of ours went to Club de Ciencia Mexico, and he fell in love with the program. And this guy from Bolivia, Mohamed, he fell in love with the program and said, like, I want to take this to my country. So he started a Club de Ciencia in Bolivia in 2015, and it's been growing. And that also happened to Colombia. Somebody from Colombia took a Club de Ciencia Mexico and fell in love with the program and said, like, oh, I want to do this in my country. So I think the love and the passion has been spread out through different versions of Club de Ciencia. It's not the same version, but I think the passion and the feeling of sharing knowledge is shared through all the Club de Ciencia versions. The latest one has been Club de Ciencia Spain, which was last year. Let me show you the video and go back to this. So this was Club de Ciencia Spain last year. Wait, so that's neuroscience. Yeah. Rendimiento es entrepreneurship. So it's science and entrepreneurship, the workshop. So in this edition we have a symposium, which was the instructors of the clubs give a small pitch of the research, 5-minute pitch, and this allows us to connect with the local university and also the students to know about what's happening in our university. So just to give a little bit of the numbers of Club de Ciencia, Mexico, and other countries, Colombia, Bolivia, Peru, Paraguay, Brazil, and Spain. In Colombia, Colombia has the most cities that is held Club de Ciencia. And 161 clubs, 3,000 students. So overall, through the Club de Ciencia network, we had around 9,000 students that we've been mentoring and follow up with them. And yes, okay. So I'm going to talk about a little bit of the Science Hub and Club de Ciencia Arizona and how the collaboration started. So a little bit of the background is between Adrian and I, we were reading Frank's book, Beautiful Question. He has a chapter that talks about color perception. And we wrote him one night and telling him like, hey, we want to make a workshop around you, around color perception. And he responded to us next day, so we were really happy. So that's how, and he said, yes, let's do a workshop around color perception in Mexico or in Latin America. So we started to designing that workshop around 2 years ago, or 3 years, yeah, two years and a half ago. And we designed this workshop as how to augment those senses, especially our vision, but looking at also the future of how can humans see. So we designed this workshop in Mexico the first time in 2016. In this workshop, the students built a device called the Illuminator, which was a basic box with a lot of LEDs that you put objects inside of the box, and you can see the object in different illuminations to bring up different properties. We also, in the workshop, built a grub that transforms colors into music. I think it's here. Oh, well, it doesn't see. So the workshop, we've been teaching it, it has been taught more than 20 times, 5 times or 7 times in Mexico. It's also been in Spain, Bolivia, Paraguay, Peru, and Mexico. And this workshop has also inspired courses in MIT and ASU. Also, the workshop that we designed at the Club de Ciencia, we brought 3 students from ASU to Club de Ciencia Mexico 2017, which is Marisabel Rodriguez, Kobe Mesan, and Cody Petrie, and also Brent, who went last year to Guadalajara. So this is the first time that we did this collaboration, and we were happy that ASU students could participate in Club de Ciencia. And I just want to know, so we started this new program, this Club de Ciencia in Arizona, and we're focusing on underrepresented students in Arizona, and based on this graph that's the number of enrolled students and college students, we can see that Hispanic people or Hispanics, North American, have low representativity in college applications. So we want to use Club de Ciencia to help bring up this percentage. So we're trying to have Club de Ciencia this summer, and from July 15 to July 20, around 5 clubs. And this has been a really great pleasure to try to bring Club de Ciencia in Mexico. I want to thank Michael Crow, Saratu, Nathan, Frank, Annie, Jadeli, Brent, Justin, Science Hub team, Marisabel Rodriguez, Comi, Cody, and ASU Physics Department for helping us through the ASU collaboration. And thank you for the Club de Ciencia team. So this is like a really fast wrap up of Club de Ciencia.
We have plenty of time for questions.
Can you tell something about the illuminator thing that brief thing you talked about?
Yeah.
Is that somewhere like on the web or something?
We from the workshops that we made, we have I can send it to you, the links of the what we built, but basically was a box with different LEDs of different wavelengths, and there was a bunch of LEDs in a sequential manner. And the idea is that students could control the LEDs dynamically and put objects inside the box. So in the workshop, we gave all the materials to the students, and they built by themselves. So the idea is that from the beginning, when I taught it, I didn't tell the students how to build it and how to, I didn't tell them anything. In the end, they figure out how to do it. So I think one of the things that we want to improve is like hands-on, figure out how to do the stuff by your own. But we helped them through the mentorship of going through the programs.
Yeah. The reason I ask is while I'm here,
Yeah.
my students are building a similar thing.
Oh, okay.
So, and I gave them kind of like, well, here's an Arduino.
Yeah.
See you in a week.
Yeah.